Hey, well, good day. This is Bunmi, and I'm making this video for my Master Your Mind telecourse students. Tomorrow, I have the honor and pleasure of being a speaker at the Developing a Millionaire Mindset Conference in Clinton, Maryland. So, therefore, this video is going to serve as a fill-in for tomorrow's class. Now, we're at week 9. So we're still going to complete 9, 10, 11, and 12, all of those weeks. But since we won't be doing 9 tomorrow, which was on an attitude that's going to be pretty powerful, I just wanted to make this video as a accountability measure. I know the sun's on my face. Accountability measure to make sure that you are getting the most that you can get out of this course. Now, we're 9 weeks in. You should be able to look back at what you've learned over the last 9 weeks, and you should be able to see some changes in your life. Even if it's not in the ultimate result, you should be able to see some changes within you. Maybe you're becoming more positive, or you're believing in yourself more, or you are the thoughts that you used to have tended to be more negative thoughts, and now when they come, you're capturing those thoughts and turning it into a positive. Maybe you're like Roxanne, who shares with me how she uses the cancel strategy when she thinks something that is not to her higher good, and she knows that she needs to think a better thought. So she cancels out the old one and chooses a new one, since we can choose what we think. Or maybe you do like she does again, and really use the strategy of playing your life as a movie. You're in a circumstance, be it in your house, at a job, or whatever, that you don't like, that you would rather not be in. And instead of seeing yourself there and getting into the bad feeling of where you really are, you play your life out as a movie. You create it in your mind, those new circumstances, and actually see yourself there. Are you really doing those things? And remember, everything that we're learning, you should not be listening to the class on Saturday and thinking, okay, well, that's good, and that's it. Knowledge, this information is great. Knowledge is power. Then it's the application of the knowledge. You need to be putting it to practice, but you need to make it a way of life. Repetition. Every day, I go over this information in my head. I'm a student of it, and I will never stop learning. It's going to be a lifelong process, but every day I'm going over these principles and connecting into my life and make sure I know and understand it and impress it in my subconscious, so that is second nature to me. Why? Because I'm so resolute that I'm going to do whatever it takes to live the life of my dreams, no question. And getting control of that mindset is how to do it. Going within every day, because I create my life and my results. You create them. You're responsible. And it starts with as within, what's inside of you, so without. Taking that time every day to go within, to get all of this internal straight, starting from here, so that what's expressed on the outside can be a glorious picture that you really want. So now let's go over some of these things that we've talked about over the last 9 weeks. So at this point, you should be understanding why you want to set big goals. You don't want to set a goal that you already know how to achieve, or even something that you think you can do. We're getting into, what do you really want? Remember, I told you, one of my mentors said, hey, look, it doesn't matter. What do you want? If you can tell me what you want, I can show you how to get it. But you got to know what it is that you really, really want. Those are those see goals that make you be like, woo, yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about. I'm going after this right here. Those see goals. What is it that you really want? And during that, when we talked about what you really wanted, we talked about the creation process of going from a fantasy. So when you start out, those things are just, fantasy. But then you ask yourself, am I willing and am I able? Well, both science and religion says you're able, you're powerful, you're able. Are you willing? You have to ask yourself that. If you're willing to do what it takes, are you learning to learn? Are you willing to think in new ways and do new things and take steps you haven't done before? If you're willing and you're able, then now that fantasy becomes a goal. And then we show you how to take that goal and take the right steps and press through the fear and turn that into a fact. So that's the summation of the creation process: fantasy, goal, fact. And we talked about the knowing and doing gap. Okay, I'm going after this goal. There's certain things I know I should be doing. Why aren't I doing them? Well, we learned that word called paradigm. Your paradigm controls almost every action in your life. That is your conditioning. So you should have explored your conditioning. Some people are blessed that they had, great conditioning and all kinds of positive messages sent to them by their parents and no negatives and all that. But most people were programmed negatively, be it from TV, their parents who didn't mean any harm, but they didn't do better because they didn't know better, and somebody programmed them negatively. And we learned about this paradigm that controls you, man. And you got to change the paradigm, your conditioning. That's why the results that you are getting in your life are showing up. And that's why you think the way you do and you do what you do and you don't do what you don't do, because of your conditioning. But here's the thing, you can change it. Change the conditioning. So we talked about some things of how to change the conditioning. We know it takes repetition, and we know it takes you not just on a conscious level, but on a subconscious level. You have to reprogram yourself with new habits, a new way of doing things. Okay? Writing over and over and over again what it is that you want. Affirming verbally. I don't think I've talked about that enough. There's so much power in the spoken word. You have to speak the words. Remember, God spoke and the world leapt into existence. Use that creative power of speaking out loud, invoking, asking, demanding from the universe what it is that you want. Invoke. I learned something a while ago. Invoke, you'll never be broke. Use that power of the spoken word in your creation process. And we started learning about the creation process. So you should be going over that in your head. Not just the creation process, but how everything works right now. So most times what happens is you look at a situation and you're like, I really don't like this. Maybe it's, my husband is lazy and you're just thinking, God, he's so lazy. He just sits on the sofa all day long or all evening long. He doesn't do anything, doesn't fix anything. And so you're focused on everything that he's not doing, which is just going to give you more of that, because remember, what you focus on expands. And then what that's going to do is put you in a negative vibration, which is where you don't want to go. So now that you're in a negative vibration, you're setting up that magnetic field that is conducive to bringing you what's in harmony with how you're vibrating. So you're just going to get more of what you don't want. That's a vicious cycle. Why so many people stay in the struggle, where they stay in the discontent, because all they know is just to look at what they see and then react off of that. So we gave you a better way of doing things. You don't start with what you see in the natural, okay? You don't look at the results that you're getting. I want you start building the image in your mind. You've got to build this image now. It's not always easy, but it's worth it. It's taking mental effort to do all this, but you have to build the thought of what it is that you want. You create it. You get to design it. It's up to you. And then you get emotionally involved in that picture. Maybe the result now is your bank account is going overdrawn. But you get emotionally involved in the fact that from paycheck to paycheck, you have thousands of dollars in your account. Woo! How good that would feel when you look in your account and you see $2,000 or $10,000 or whatever it needs to be for you. Or you get emotionally involved. Maybe you're upset because you and your husband never go anywhere, but you need a vacation, so you get emotionally involved in seeing yourself on the beach and riding. Maybe it's even in first class, if not just just being in love and a great relationship and going somewhere and enjoying each other. You get emotionally involved in that thought. And then what happens is the thought creates a feeling. Remember, feeling is just a way of saying that you are consciously aware of the vibrational state that you're in. You describe that as a feeling. And so then the feeling produces the action, and then the action produces the result. So you got to start with you creating the image, okay? Get the picture. And then you impress that picture in your subconscious. I mean, you got to be getting into this. This is not something you do one time. It's something that you do at least morning and night, and really throughout the day. Throughout the day. Do you know the quality of your thinking and your thoughts creates the quality of your life, determines the quality of your life. So, these are some of the things that you should be doing. Now, what else did we talk about? We talked about how important self-image is. How do you see yourself? Hopefully you guys have been doing these exercises. How do you really see yourself? Because you're never going to go past that which you believe that you can do, or that which you can see yourself doing. Who are you? You are the writer, the director, the producer of your play, of your movie. Write the script. Stop being an extra in your own movie. Determine you are the star. I'm the one. You gotta say yourself, oh, I'm the one. I'm the one. Everything I touch turns to gold. I'm so awesome. Man, everything I need shows up when I need it and on time. I'm the one. Get that right self-image. See yourself as that six-figure earner already. Start acting as if. That's what you have to do. You have to act as if you're that character, that person. Play the role until you get there. You'll get there faster. You really will. And then, let me look at my notes here with some of the other things. Oh. So, in this whole process, guess what's going to come and try to stop it? Fear. But you got to understand it. It's part of the process. Fear grows you. Success is created in the fear zone. So if you are in a business and you're doing something and it's not scary, everything is always easy, then you're not stepping out of that comfort zone enough. You have to know that when the fear comes, that's that terror barrier. You got to press through that, because on the other side of that wall, that's where the freedom lies. On the other side of that wall is freedom. So when you come up to the terror barrier, that big wall of fear, do you shrink back and you're like, you know what? I didn't really want that anyway. It's just too much. I don't know. I'm just gonna I don't really need that lifestyle. I'm fine. I'm comfortable where I am. Or do you keep moving forward and break through? I'm telling you, if you keep moving forward, on the other side of that wall of fear is a life filled with freedom. I'm telling you. A freedom, joy filled life. Now, anxiety is going to come up. Anxiety will get you, and you'll think something is wrong that you should stop. But that's just know that it's part of the process. Your mind will start to go haywire, and all this doubt and worry will come in. Right? Has that ever happened to you? I'm sure it has. But just know that, Bunmi said every day is like this. Bunmi said this was going to happen, that I would start doubting and have fear and worry. That's part of it. But you just have to keep on going. Man, I can't talk about everything that we learned. Remember we talked about cybernetics and being able to understand that you're not a thermometer. The thermometer changes as the temperature changes, but you're the thermostat. You got to be the thermostat. Thermostat set at 70, and you program yourself for a certain temperature, be a certain money amount or whatever. And when something comes into your life that tries to throw you off of that temperature, your cybernetic mechanism kicks on and starts kicking on the fan to bring you back to where you should be. Your setting should be, like if you want to be a six-figure earner, you need to get your thermostat set at the $8,300 a month or more. But right now you're probably set for something less, so you got to change the thermostat, right? By doing the reprogramming. Golly, there's so much. So the other thing too that we talked about last week. Do you understand who you are? How powerful you are? I mean, you are. I gotta walk in the house. My battery's on it. But you are so powerful, unlimited, untapped potential. I mean, we talked about literally how much power you have. There are over 11 million kilowatts per pound of potential energy inside of you. That's what is actually inside of you. And when you think about the human potential, no one before Roger Bannister had run the 4-minute mile, and they thought it was humanly impossible. But then once one man did it, Roger Bannister, what went on to happen? That same year, many more people broke the 4-minute mile, including students, high school students. And so it only took one man doing it that made everybody else believe. And then when they started believing, their belief created the fact, and they did it. So your belief creates the fact. You just got to believe. You know that all heaven and earth will move itself in your favor once you make a decision and decide to believe. So, anyway, I'm saying all this just to show you how you just replay this. You get your notes, you listen to the recordings again, you say your affirmations, you speak these positive things, you keep your mindset set in the right place, you become more of a positive person, you start teaching these concepts to others. Your world is going to change, I promise you. Your world is going to change in your favor, for your benefit. And all the things you wanted to do for your family, all the things you want to do for your kids, for yourself, for your health, you are going to do them all. If you put these principles to work, realize and understand that greatness within you, Tap into the universal laws and principles that God has put on this earth. Tap into that power. Remember, there's a God energy that moves to you and through you every second of the day, and you can take that energy and think thoughts with it and shape it and mold it into whatever it is that you want it to be, and God will give you those desires of your heart. All right. So those are just a little bit or some of the concepts we talked about, but I need you to own this. I need you to really own this, because my greatest heart's desire is that you call me and say, oh, situation was going this way, but I kept positive and this is what happened. I changed it with my mind. I used my mental powers. I used the way I looked at it. I decided to look at it differently, because I learned that when I change the way I look at things, everything I look at changes, and and this is what started happening for my family, my children, my relationships, and my health. And talk about how your focus and your imagination and your will, reason, perception, and developing that mental toolbox. Go over that in your mind. Put forth the mental effort that it takes to win. It is so worth it. It's so worth it. Be done with the struggle. Press forward into bliss and joy. You deserve it. The time is now. Well, send me a comment on this video. We'll meet together again next Saturday. And until then, be blessed, and remember, you are more powerful than you know.